What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Love Coach Scott Katamas, and welcome to The Awakening World, our Wednesday night edition, part of the Global Peace Tribe online offerings. You know, I'm going to talk about my mom for a moment. When she's still alive, I bought her a porpoise, a dolphin, and underneath it, it said, everyone needs a purpose in their life. And Mom put it in a very prominent place. And she would bring it up to me all the time. And I'm thinking about that today because tonight's show is all about finding our purpose, or finding our purpose, of course. And we've got some amazing presenters who are going to be with us, helping us. Now, some of us are blessed to really be kind of connected and know what our purpose in life is. And others might be in a transition period. And that can be challenging, especially at this time in our world where there's a lot to be done. And so we've got three extraordinary women who are going to talk to us about finding purpose in life. And one of them you know very, very well. She's one of our favorite people. It's Zenka Caro. And Zenka is back with us, and she's going to tell us all about her amazing new project, the Holomovement Purpose Lab. So welcome back to the Awakening World, Zenka.
Thank you, Scott. It's great to be here. Welcome, everyone. Glad to have you guys backstage and online.
What's really cool is two of Zenka's friends, who you know, are also going to join us later in the show. Raquel Spring and Altair are going to be joining us because they are with you, doing a big project with you, and we're going to learn all about that as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an extra treat that we've got going on. Now, as you know, Zenka is part of the Evolutionary Leaders Network, and another friend of ours that we've met recently, who's also a member of the Evolutionary Leaders Network, is Amanda Sanders. And Amanda is the co-founder of Authentic CEO, and she has brought on her partner, Amy Levin, and they are going to tell us all about the work they do in helping people find their purpose and live their lives to the fullest. And they're both extraordinary women. You'll learn all about them a little bit later on in the show. But we always like to start our show, as you know, with music. And of course, we have our wonderful house musical artist, the irrepressible Omashar, to get us off to a look at that colorful background. Wow. Trey Psychedelic.
Well, I knew you were going to call me irrepressible, so here I am, irrepressibly uncompressed. So without further ado, namaste, everybody. Got a frog in my throat, but hey, frogs are frogs. Here we go. So this one, and we're off.
flowers grow, dripping with dew, and rivers flow in sapphire blue. I certainly know what a fall God I knew. I'm a deer that's lost fear of the ocean. And when autumn sun kisses my cheek, whilst cool winds come from mountains peak, with poems on my tongue, with no wish to speak, I'm a deer that's lost fear of the ocean. I'm a deer that's lost fear of the ocean. Sweet water, when I give you my heart, I already start to feel better. My sweet water, won't you send me your love forever and ever and ever? Forever and ever and ever. When tender hands trace memories where powdered sands meet temperate seas, I don't understand, yet I love mysteries. Tears lost fear of the ocean. And when evening stars shine all around, my grieving heart's no longer down. And things that were lost, that's where true hope's found. Tears lost fear of the ocean. Tears lost fear of the ocean. Sweet water, when I give you my heart, I already start to feel better. My sweet water, won't you send me your love forever and ever and ever? Sweet water, when I give you my heart, I already start to feel better. Oh, sweet water, won't you send me your love forever and ever and ever? I'm a deer that's lost fear of the ocean. I'm a deer that's lost fear of the ocean. I'm a deer that's lost fear of the ocean.
That's all Twinkle Beloved Omashar for that beautiful song. It is so sweet. Such a sweet song. Thank you, Omashar. It's a sentimental one. It really gets me. Thank you. And we will have 2 more Omashar songs later on in the show. So we're excited about that. So finding your purpose. And I want to bring back now our kind of 2 of our main presenters tonight. Amy and Amanda, they're quite the pair. They are the co-founders of Authentic.ceo. And I'm going to put a little bit of their bio and all about them into the chat box. But ladies, tell us about the service that you provide and some tips for finding and really living our purpose in a dynamic way.
Amanda, you go ahead and start.
Well, we seem to be called in the exact same way, which is how we teamed up to do Authentic CEO. We come from very different backgrounds, but we got the exact same calling, which was bring consciousness to corporations. And that's just a very different slant than a lot of people are looking at finding purpose or raising the frequency or advancing the evolution of where we're at. And Amy and I seem to be called in exactly the same way to do that. So we met in a mastermind and knew that we are supposed to do this together if we're getting exactly the same sort of message to do this. So we work with entrepreneurs who are working in startups. We work with executives who run multi-billion-dollar companies. We work with people who run venture firms, who invest. We work with anyone who's on that side of what they consider that they're doing is some sort of business that they're running, whether that be traditional business or non-traditional business, profit or nonprofit business. And the way that we look at it is your purpose is really about alignment, right? So many of us look for what is it that I'm here to do? And so many of my teachers have come to the realization that there may not be one thing that you're here to do. There may be many things that you're here to do. This in this moment, this in this moment, this in that moment. And I don't remember being taught any of that in school. I mean, first grade, second grade, third grade, not college. I mean, what class did we take that was, where's that purpose or where's that alignment? I mean, at best, if you were happy with math and science, they were like, go over into math and sciences. And if you liked more of like English and arts, they were like, yeah, kind of go over there. But that's all we really got. So Amy and I set out to create a program that would be what we considered modern day business school. What would it be like to create a business school that was not only about you and what are you supposed to be doing, what's aligned with you and your purpose and what you're here to do, but what's aligned with what wants to be created. This business you're either running or creating, depending on whether you're a corporate executive or a startup founder, what is in alignment for it? And what does it mean to create a conscious business? Because I think there's a misconception that it means you have to be saving the whales or doing something as a nonprofit to be a conscious business. And we can all create conscious businesses regardless of what business we're creating. I come from a software background, and every single software company that's being created today can be a conscious business. Every leader that's being born today can be a conscious leader if they choose. Every culture of every corporation can be a conscious culture if they choose. So at the highest level, that's what Amy and I do. We have a program called the Growth Catalyst Program. We would love to tell you a little bit about it tonight. We brought a couple of exercises if anyone's interested. We like to not just talk about things, but actually give you a few little things to do. And so we'll give them to you throughout the evening as well to let you walk away with a few little insights. We'll tell you more about ourselves and give you a little more perspectives. We do come at this through a neuroscience and quantum physics lens. So put your science hats on tonight. There's many lenses you can come at this through. We happen to come at it through that lens because it reaches our audience a lot easier. But we're here to have fun and play. And thank you for joining us. And we're happy to be here on this journey with you.
Thank you. We love neuroscience. We've done many shows on neuroscience, and we love that. So we're going to go to Zenka in a moment, but I want to meet Amy. And so, Amy, I've got a question for you. It's actually more of a serious question. Working with CEOs, what's your perspective of the rise of consciousness? You know, we all know that a corporation, by the very nature of corporate structure, is sociopathic. You know, because it's not about what's best 7 generations from now. It's about how much money can we make this quarter. So working with CEOs, what can you share with us about the rise in consciousness in the corporate world, or lack thereof?
Yeah, it's funny you asked me the serious question because I'm the least serious person. Probably Amanda knows, most people know. So I think that's my gift actually to corporate, is that I don't take much very serious. I come with a lot of play. And in that play, we know joy is invoked. So I think the one role Amanda and I do have, if we're going to assign a role, is to hold the space of joy and love when other people can't feel that. And when we work with CEOs, I have yet to have one that is not, we see a transformation of. They realize that their work isn't in the outside, it's always within. And the moment they can put away the five senses just for a little bit, because as a human, we are often dominated by those five senses. When they can go beyond and hold a vision, despite what the numbers say, despite how people are showing up, they have the ability to actually have a greater impact. So is it a fast change? I think that probably actually depends on me, on how I'm showing up that day. When I am just in my space of being joyful, they are joyful. Their jobs are joyful. Their teams are joyful. And so that's my work. But there are days where I show up and I've had 5 kids and I go, oh boy. And they show up, oh boy. So I can't say corporate is separate from me, even though I've never worked in corporate. I actually have a medical background. But it's not, it is, the world for me is always a reflection. And when the others start to see it is reflecting them as well, they start to rise, as Amanda can explain here in a second. And we see great transformation where they aren't bothered so much by the numbers. I mean, we say this world is changing and money will change. And actually our greatest resource is synchronicity for any of us, no matter if it's in the corporate, if it's at home. Synchronicity is gold, platinum, however you want to look at it. And it trumps everything. And when we can tap into how do we have synchronicity, not just now and again, but multiple times in our daily lives, but in business, things skyrocket. And synchronicity happens, but it affects everybody with win-wins. That's what we see.
Mm.
And that's why I
Beautiful.
brought up this image while you were talking, Amy, because this is the fundamental of the journey that we see our executives go on. And the reason, I guess I should caveat it, the reason we focus on the executives is the executives really are the matrix holders of the energy and the culture for the company. So if we get them to change, the whole company changes. We don't actually have to work with the rest of the company. If we get, the founders, if it's a small company to change, the rest of the company changes. We get the CEOs and the executives to change in a larger company, the whole rest of the company automatically changes. So that's why we target that level. We just go in at the fulcrum of where do we know that the point of change can happen. And so we go in and we work with them, and they're at this perspective where they predominantly operate in the life happens to them. Now, they don't admit that. Of course, they're like, no, like I'm in charge here, right? Like literally I'm in charge here. And they believe that they're in this sort of second tier life, is created by me, but it's very easy, to challenge that and to say, oh, really? So you take ownership for all the traffic out on the 5 today, or on the 405, or, depending on if you're a California or East Coaster, like whatever interstate it is that you're traveling on. They're like, oh no, of course not. I didn't create all that traffic. I would never create all that traffic, right? Oh, you take responsibility, for the wars, that are going on. You take responsibility for the leaves on the tree, even for the flowers, that are blooming. It doesn't have to be things you dislike, things you like. No, like of course I didn't grow every leaf on every tree, oh, so then you're not really in charge of everything. So you can start to find that, no, there's a lot that they're not in charge of. If they were in charge of everything, they wouldn't need lawyers.
Right.
That's the easiest way to find out in business. How big's your legal team? Oh, so you're really not in charge of everything. The bigger your legal team, the more that life is happening to you because your contracts are getting bigger and your legal team's getting bigger because things keep happening to you and you're trying to prevent them from happening to you, right? So, our goal, and we work not just as us, but through accelerators, tech accelerators, through venture funds with all the portfolio companies. We work through all the places where businesses are being created and growing to try to be there instead of everyone having to come to us. And our main goal in a lot of those places is to just get people to move from predominantly down here to predominantly one step up. That's it. We're not trying to take everyone to full enlightenment where everybody's, just completely blissed out all day long. Quite honestly, if everyone went to unity consciousness, we actually wouldn't have very many entrepreneurs because, as you guys probably know, in full unity consciousness, nothing is broken, nothing needs to be fixed. And so therefore, no companies would need to be invented, no products, no services, right? There would be no entrepreneurs, basically. And so from a true business perspective, like real good innovation and conscious business happens sort of in this middle realm right here, where there's still fun and interesting things in this game called life to play and create, but you're doing it in this healthy, beautiful, networked, integrative way where you understand how we're all related rather than feeling so separate and chaotic and not understanding this everything looks very separate from down here. So we see everyone rise. We have probably about a third of the clients that we work with long-term actually spend about a third of their time in this third rung. And that is beautiful. When they start to see that they're just an instrument and life just happens through them and they're a CEO, you've never heard different words out of a CEO's mouth than one that's transitioned into life happening through them, because it's no longer about quarterly goals and making this happen. It's about showing up and being present and, whatever the direction of the organization is supposed to do at the moment. And it's about honoring and respecting, all of the partners and the entire network and all that they've done and all that they are and all that they are there to do. So yeah, it's very interesting to watch. But like Amy said, it's surprising to me. I didn't think this would be true going into it, but we've been doing this work since 2018 now. And we haven't seen anyone, let's say, flunk out of the program. I thought it would be maybe a 80-20, 60-40, like some sort of statistic of where does it work, where does it not work. It just works. I think we just must be in a world where this is where everyone wants to go, or maybe this is just who's attracted to Amy and I don't know, but it just works and it's just beautiful.
Beautiful. I'm wondering where you might have gotten that wonderful list, because it's almost identical to what Michael Beckwith from Agape teaches. And it's also almost identical to what our friends, the Twin Ray, teach. So it's beautiful to see this kind of universal knowledge of the kind of the four primary levels of consciousness. And of course, we all bounce back and forth. We might have a moment where, a certain person, we feel more victimized with the lower end. And then we have other parts of our life or relationship where we're really in the total awareness that spirit's flowing through us. But did you happen to get that from Agape and Michael Beckwith?
We saw it. So go ahead, Amy.
I think it was Michael Beckwith, but what Amanda doesn't know is probably a month ago, I was listening to a book and I can't remember what the book was, if it was written in the 40s or the 50s, and it said the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So
we saw it in so many sources when we actually adopt. So we're curators. I guess we didn't say this in the beginning. We're actually curators of what we see as highly resonant things for business. So we source a lot of stuff. We couldn't find a source for this one. So this is one of our few pieces of material that has no source on it. There are so many people using it. It's kind of like if you've ever tried to find the source to the bus stop conversation. So many people use the bus stop conversation. I mean, I haven't been able to find who's the source of that, right? Like it is so in widespread use. I've seen a 3-part version of this, the 4-part version, sometimes with different words, but I've seen it from so many different ones that it just helps, I think, to give that 50,000 foot view framework to people to even realize there are different perspectives to life. It's not just one dimensional.
I think the way that Michael Beckwith does it is life happens to me, life happens for me, life happens through me, life is.
Yeah, he's a little bit different.
Anyway, it's beautiful. We're going to come back to the two of you because we've got a whole couple of hours to get to know you. But I want to bring our other amazing presenter on, the wonderful, magical, magnificent Zenka Caro. And I had the good fortune to stay at Zenka's house for a few days last year. I was visiting Sedona. And there is always something going on at her house. There are people who are blindfolded playing ping pong. There are, people coming in and out with magical things. She is just the most creative, interesting human being. So Zenka, I know you've got something very exciting, new to share with us. So take it away and tell us what you're up to.
Yeah, thank you so much, Scott. Tonight is no exception. We just had a group filming a manifestation device using interlocking hands, not just holding hands regularly, but holding hands in a Rodin coil that we're using to manifest new templates for the community into reality. So Lynn McTaggart is starting to do this too. So instead of using the power of 8 to heal people or to cause world peace, because we've been doing that, how can we use our group intention, the global peace tribe, etc., to support these conscious CEOs that Amanda and Amy are working on and cause those synchronicities, right? And tonight, we're actually meeting about the Fashion Lab, which is another community template we're doing in October, which is going to be so fun. It's a hackathon that starts at Friday night at 6 o'clock. And then it's Sunday at 4 o'clock, we do a fashion show. And something about playing with our clothes and being more ourselves and bringing this joy of authenticity and learning how to use a sewing machine and getting the person next to you to be like, hey, I need this, it's in staying up all night and just doing what you can in 48 hours is going to be so much fun. And we hope to spread it to other cities. So going back to tonight and purpose. So it's very interesting because my nonprofit LightNet, I wrote in the chat that my purpose was to make the impossible possible, kind of like to prove that nothing is impossible when we use our consciousness. And I've been interested in this for the last 5 years or so, as I've been working on spoon bending and hearing about people levitating and all this getting out of wheelchairs. And I thought to myself, like, how did they get out of that wheelchair? Like every single doctor told them they couldn't. What did they do? And this is the stuff of miracles that we're just starting to try to understand. That there's miracles in consciousness. There's miracles in when we come together to do stuff. And, we had a contact lab, we have an addiction lab helping people rise out of that. But the oddest thing is we realized we needed a purpose lab of all things. The statistics show that only 10% know why they're here. And it's almost like the most important question that you could ask yourselves. Who am I? Why am I here? And yet our entire society is not structured to let you answer that question. The education system is not like that. When you're a kid and you start dreaming, your parents like, no, no, no. It's so only 5% of the world are living their purpose. And this is extraordinary because I think that you guys all know that when you've seen someone on purpose, like Amanda and Amy and Scott and Omar, they light up. They're on fire. They're examples of what can happen when you have 3 synchronicities a day, like Amy said. You know, like Scott is attracting Marianne Williamson. All these people start to come into you, to your life, when you're on purpose. And do you want to know what is the biggest regret people have on their deathbed?
What's that?
It's not living their, living for other people, like not really doing what they wanted to really do. And we start to realize that when we're doing what we want to do and what we're here to do and what our unique personality is all about, that's our gift to the world. That's where you have true impact. That's where you can help the most people. That's where you can share your joy and love and genius. And somewhere along the line, we stopped believing that we could make money doing what we love. And so we got to turn around this. And I want to share a couple slides to show you what we're working on and how we're doing it. So the Holomovement, which many of you guys know, is a network of networks. It's not an organization. It's just people, organizations like Scott's and mine coming together to explain that we're all one. And have you guys ever seen this quote? Follow your bliss and doors will open for you that you never knew existed. The universe will open doors where there are only walls. So I have interviewed over 120 people that have found their purpose. And I'm starting to believe something happens with Dan Winter was explaining to me the other day that the heart is actually a fractal generator that starts to implode. And when you're in your purpose, you're in your joy and you're in your highest excitement, and that actually carries out. And that's why miracles are happening, because your heart's alive. It's on fire. And as we know, this quote that we're all sick of hearing, you know what I mean? It's like, we can change the world when we come together as a global peace tribe and bring that into the world. And we know that that's the case. That's why evolutionary leaders like Amanda and Amy are changing the world. Because like they said, the inner hive of the company translates out from there. So when we look at quantum physics, we know that our consciousness can change even rice when you say, I hate you for 20 days or I love you. So there's something, we talk about Tesla, we think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, but really consciousness is the most important part over everything else. And this is exactly what Amanda and Amy just said. Something about when you're in alignment, when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, when you're saying what you want to say, when you're doing what you want to do, when you're acting the way you want to act, you are in alignment. And you basically have a blank sheet of paper. But we've got 90% of the world with a wrong hypothesis that it's not possible to live the life of our dreams. So we want to reverse that belief, like I just said. And we built a lab, just like the other labs, that studied 100 people. And we've got like a 10-year-old from Argentina that wants to build a periodic table of musical instruments. We've got this other girl that just interviewed 100 girls all over the world that are teenagers and asked them what they needed to make their dreams come true. And we built this Purpose Lab software. And we asked people who found their purpose, like, what was the method that worked for you? And we asked them to rank it. And then we build maps to show the fastest, funnest, cheapest way to find your purpose. And our data is already showing interesting patterns. So on the left-hand side, people can see how I found my purpose or Scott found their purpose. And on the other side, we can see how we did it together. And some of the initial research is starting somewhere, moving out of your comfort zone, finding flow, being courageous, finding mentors, looking inside rather than outside. So these are the collective intelligence already starting to form patterns that you got to start somewhere, and you got to move out of your comfort zone. You know, it's this exploration. And we have all these sorts of things. You can search on books that were important to people, or you can add it to your library. You can say that you want to try it in the software and like it. And you can search by certain authors like Scott or me and look at what they liked. So in this, we have these idea of knowledge trees. So I can basically share all of the ways that I find my purpose. You can add resources and you can join a team of 8 to 12 to actually spend 8 weeks finding your purpose. And we've chronicled all these different people and shared their stories to show you that it is possible. And, you know, a lot of these stories are people that went one direction, became highly successful, and then they were like, oh, I'm not happy. This isn't fulfilling. I was successful because I was told to do it, because I thought it was good, because I was making money, because it looked good on paper, because my mom told me to do it, because I thought I'd be happy if I did the thing that society wanted me to do. But really, I'm much happier now because I listened to my, you know, inner self. We have playlists and Telegram groups. And if you go to the Holomovement, you can click right, holomovement.net, click on the Purpose Lab, and you can volunteer to lead a group. You can share your story. We have 100 people already. We just launched a couple of weeks ago that want to share their story. And we have 25 people that want to lead groups. One of the assignments, by the way, in the groups of 8 is you going out and interviewing someone that you know that are living their purpose. So I ask you, if you see someone in your life, whether it's your next door neighbor, or it could be the person working in the grocery store, ask them what they did, how they did it. And so I think really we're here to change the belief and bring people to a new sense of possibility. And, you know, whether you write a blank sheet of paper and say, if you only have 1 year to live, what am I going to do? Or if you say, I'm going to win the lottery, what would I do? You get down to the core of what makes you come alive. And we need all you guys to come alive. A lot of times the purpose is like, I want to bring love to the world. And their job is being a hairdresser. And that's how they bring more love to the world. So your job is often not your purpose. But anyway, it's a very rewarding search and nobody can do it for you. You're the only person that can figure out what your purpose is. That's what my 10-year-old said. It's true. And it's very rewarding when you do that, because I think your heart explodes. And I think you light other people up into the belief that they can too.
Beautiful. I'm going to bring all 3 of you up. So, of course, we all know, and you made it very clear, all of you, how powerful it is when we have found our purpose. Let's just speak to the people who are watching right now that are in between, that they left what wasn't working, they left that job, or they left that relationship, or they left that community, and maybe they're even in a time of purgatory, a time of disillusionment. What are some steps or some advice that we can give for those people that are in that in-between space?
Scott, I can go because I've been there.
Okay.
Haven't always known. My son recently I have out of the 5, the 4th just went off to college, and he came home a little disheartened, actually in tears, and said, I don't know what to do with my life. I don't know what my purpose is. And I said, oh, honey, whoever told you you're the one that has to figure out your purpose? I said, have I given you that, that guidance? And he said, no. And I said, what if I told you your job is to show up every day with curiosity, with openness, with love towards yourself, with trying new things, with succeeding and failing and not having to figure it out? What if I told you right now, you're 19 years old, what if I told you? And he took this breath and he goes, I would feel so relieved. I would feel so relieved. And I said, you were born on this earth. Life knows your purpose. Deep down somewhere, you do know your purpose, but maybe it's not ready to be revealed right now, and that's okay. I said, my purpose, if you ask, has probably, I thought, was through my job and changed many times. Now I know my purpose is just to show up and be joyful no matter what I'm doing. He's not quite there yet. That's okay. So giving yourself the relief to say, it's okay if I don't know. And his other question for me was, what do I tell people when they keep asking me, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What's your purpose? I said, you tell them you're figuring it out. And 3 weeks later, he came back to me and he goes, Mom, that line works. I said, well, what line? He said, I'm figuring it out. He said, the moment I say it, 2 things happen. He said, 1, this brain up here stops. It gives my brain a break from the questions. And he said, and when I say it out loud to somebody, they don't have any more follow-up. They just go, oh, yeah, you'll figure it out. Of course you're figuring it out. It brings this sense of peace of, I'm whole and complete now. Life will support me. That's how valuable I am. That's how valuable we all are. And to trust, as Zenka said, trust that we are here to be joyful, be supported in our joy. It is so powerful. And so I really did. When I went through a divorce, I had no idea where I would go. I've had many careers, you could say. And if you ask me today what my purpose is, I will tell you it's to be joyful. It's as simple as that. Right now, that work's coming with Amanda. Tomorrow, it could change. And I actually like change, so that works for me. But give yourself grace. Give yourself so much grace and love. And instead of that nagging voice that says, I got to figure it out, use something like Zenka's tool. Talk to people, but just get curious. What sounds interesting? What sounds fun? Your joy itself changes the world.
Beautiful response. Zenka, Amanda, is there anything you'd like to add to that brilliant response? But you might have some other pieces as well.
I do.
But go ahead, Amanda.
I want to echo something that Zenka said, because you said somewhere along the way, we started believing we can't make money doing something we love. And that's not just the only belief we took on. We have taken on so many beliefs that that's likely the only reason you're not hearing or noticing your purpose, because it's there. It's talking to you. It's being reflected to you. It's like a child pulling on your shirt every day. But if you have hundreds of other beliefs that you're wearing like a heavy coat, you can't feel the tug on the shirt. So a lot of the work that Amy and I do is no different than, thousands of other types of practitioners are trying to do these days on limiting beliefs. How do you identify them? How do you hear them in your own heads? How do you eliminate them or get past them? Because your natural state is a very open, high frequency, joyful, light-filled state. You don't have to learn to do that. That is natural. All of the beliefs that you took on are each like heavy rocks or anchors that are holding you down. And that's the only thing that's keeping you from seeing or hearing or feeling the little tug at your shirt for all the purpose clues, the blues clues that are coming in every day. If you have kids, the little purpose clues that are coming, because they are, I promise you, every single day they're being reflected to you all around you. They're just getting drowned out by all the other beliefs. So that would be my first thing. Find someone, anyone in any type of work that is doing work with beliefs, or just do it yourself with a book, a free YouTube, any way that works for you, or meditation. It doesn't have to be something super sophisticated or fancy. There's 1,000 different ways to eschew these beliefs. They are just energetic frequencies that we chose to hold on to in our hard drive. We thought they were beneficial at the time. I do not speak ill of any of these beliefs. We took them on positively at the time. We've just outgrown them. So that would be my first suggestion. My second one is actually we brought a little tool for you guys that I can share here. Let me bring it up. Share. View my screen. Oh, actually, the slide I have up is one of the reasons why I brought the tool. This is one of the beliefs that we've given Gen Z. Gen Z actually has been voted the most stressed out generation because we have given them this belief that if they are not busy all of the time and pushed to the max, then they cannot achieve this word successful, right? Isn't that an interesting measuring stick that has absolutely no tick marks on it ever and no goal line that you can ever pass? And so, you know, of course, we've got to get over that. We've done that for an entire generation. So here's a little piece. If you're just wondering, where am I? Because it's a little bit difficult for us to look at ourselves at this. So sometimes it's helpful to have a mirror, right? If you've ever tried to, you know, draw something on your own face or put makeup on, if you are a makeup wearing person, or brush your own hair without being able to see what it looks like, it's a little difficult. You can do it, but it's easier with a mirror. This is a third-party test. This is Amy and I did not develop this, but we really appreciate this person who did. We work with a Stanford psychologist who uses this assessment, and she's the one who referred us to it. And at first I thought, oh, self-compassion, because we asked her, how do you choose a co-founder for a founder? Because that to me is like crazier than choosing a partner in marriage, right? Because it's the ultimate like stressful, potentially with our beliefs these days, stressful relationship of creating a company, you know, go in all this work. And if you don't already know them, and that's what she does. And she says, oh, I just do 2 assessments. And the primary one that I care about really is self-compassion. And I was like, what? That's it? And at first I completely dismissed it. And then I realized all that is self-compassion. And it's actually all that we've been talking about, and everything that Zenka was talking about as well. Self-compassion is the ability for you to sit in your heart. Right? So how much do you sit in your own heart throughout the day? That is what self-compassion is. And so this test lives at self-compassion.org/self-compassion-test. That's a lot to type out. So I created a little short bit.ly link for you. It's bit.ly-self888, just because that was available. And seems like a lot less to type than all those dashes. If you'd like to go do it, I believe it's like a 25 question test. I've taken it numerous times and nobody's ever sent me weird marketing emails or anything. They do have you put your email in so they can email you the results. We've had all of our clients do it, and nobody's ever gotten their information sold or anything. But this is not Amy and I's site. I will just tell you that. But what you'll come out with is a great little score at the end that looks something like this. It'll tell you how you're doing on self-judgment, isolation, and over-identification. And you would like to be low on those if you got to choose, right? Because we are more compassionate when we have less self-judgment, less isolation, and less identification with the self. And it'll tell you about your amount of self-kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness. And we have more self-compassion when we have higher amounts of those things, right? So the numbers, you can't just take every number and do the, high number's better, right? They are flipping scales. You have to realize what you are looking at. The system itself knows which ones to flip when it combines them into an overall score, which it will give you as well. And if you score between 1 and 2.5, you're considered low on the self-compassion. And I would say if this is where you're at, thinking about trying to find your purpose, it's probably not the next direct step for you. I would say working on finding yourself, being more self-compassionate, eliminating some of these heavy beliefs, that might be your first step. Finding your purpose, step 2 or 3 after that. Let's take some steps that are going to make you a little more successful. Otherwise, you're sort of in the middle of a crowd trying to listen to your inner voice. And I don't know that that's wildly successful, right? Moderate would be getting a 2.5 to 3.5 as your overall score. Like you've got a good chance there that you could hear. We can always get better. So maybe, look at finding your purpose, listening to the self while also doing some improvement work, whether you're choosing some meditation, some limiting beliefs work. We have some great things that we work with from iAwake Technologies that actually does some brainwave modulation to quiet out the inner critic, the ego, and all that stuff, so you can connect more to your higher self. So, some help might be needed here. If you're scoring in the high range, the 3.5 to 5, I think you're good. I think it is much more what Amy described. I happen to know Amy's child. I've met him a couple times, even though we actually live in very different states. We don't get to hang out in person very often. And he would definitely score in the high realm. And so I think if you're in this high realm for self-compassion, go directly for the purpose, right? You don't have a lot standing in your way other than maybe the belief that it's hard to find it or that something that might be there. So just knock that out of the way and say, no, it's not. Amy and Amanda and Zenka and Scott and everyone told me that it's not. And it'll just be reflected back to me today. But I just wanted to give you just a little tool to kind of understand, like, where am I and how hard am I on myself? Do I sit in my heart center with that? And if you guys will indulge me for just one more moment, I have a really great tie into what Zenka told you and the info that we brought. Like, our minds are totally vibing on the same stuff. And I'll actually let Amy describe it if she's up for it, because I know you've heard my voice a lot here. So
we're loving all of your voices, and everything you're sharing is wonderful, really wonderful.
So Zenka, you were talking about how when somebody is in alignment, that like their heart seems to be generating, and this joy and all of this. So Amy and I are huge fans of Dr. David Hawkins' work. Anybody who's studied under him will recognize that this is an adaptation of his work. I think I first heard him speak in 2001. So I've been studying his work for a very long time now. And just been fascinated at how he approaches things, especially because we come from the science side and everything is energy. We actually use this adapted model of the energetic frequency of your state of being or your emotion with all of our CEOs. So I'll let Amy describe it a little bit, but this is exactly what you were saying. When you're in that joy, you're actually in a place on this chart where things happen differently. When you're in the places where most people are most of the time, very different things happen, very different laws of physics take over, very different interactions happen. It's just two completely different worlds between, medical healing and not, construction, destruction, creation, and so it's just, I just love that. Like when you were describing, I was like, we have topics just differently. So go ahead, Amy, I'll let you describe this a little bit in case there's anyone watching who's not really familiar with this work.
Well, somebody asked a question about over-identification on that test. So
Mm.
I can say if we were using this chart for over-identification, if there's some sort of suffering and you can't get it out of your mind and you are beating yourself up, you are below that line. That's over-identification with your mind, with the beliefs that aren't serving you. Could even say with your body, with your health, whatever that is, that you're judging so hard and the story's playing over and over and over again like a broken record. When we rise above and there's self-compassion and there's the over-identification, you might still feel sad. You could still have tears, but it's more the joy still of the journey. There's no attachment to these thoughts that are going, or even the feelings that you're having, because there's actually some gratitude that you get to experience it all. And the higher we raise, it's easier, you could say just like strengthening a muscle, it is easier to hear the whispers, to allow the emotions just to go through. They're like a wave. The thoughts to come, the thoughts to go, and there's not an over-identification because there's just so much love for the whole being that you are and the experience. But this zone of co-creating, these lower levels, I'm saying lower, but there's no judgment in these, right? We've played in all of them. But as we don't want to be so low all the time that we are constantly looking at ourselves of what to fix, because we will get more to fix. The world of what we need to fix, because we will get more to fix. Everything is just being reflected. And at times as a society, sometimes we go down into fear or anger, and that's okay because it gets things moving. That's not where we want to stay when we are then making really effective decisions. You take the bounce and you come back up, because we know when we are above that line, the inspiration, the ideas, the people that we meet are very different in that frequency than when we are in the frequency of fear, in the frequency of confusion, in the frequency of guilt or shame. There's just not much there's not very much momentum in especially those lower ones. So it takes a lot more effort to get things done, physical effort to get things done. And so it's not ever this is a journey. So, and everyone is right where they are. And it's more of becoming the observer of it and then the experiencer of it, so that we can, right? When you're trying to find your purpose down in fear, it's a little more difficult. The decisions that you'll make and the life experiences that you will have will be very different than if you're making these life choices up in gratitude. And so I always encourage people that we're working with, before they make a decision, get in alignment and then act. Get in alignment and then see what comes to you. And where they are in alignment, if they are down at guilt or blame, alignment for them might just be moving up to fear. There's no, I'm not saying everyone has to rise above to gratitude or above that. It makes life a lot easier. But sometimes just that relief of feeling anger compared to guilt or shame is a huge difference. And we know this from a study that they did with women who were abused. They kept saying, why don't you just love yourself? Why can't you just love yourself? Why, can't you love yourself so you'll leave? But if you look at the chart, a woman who's in an abusive relationship, or a man, we'll go both here, they are typically in shame, guilt, and fear. To jump up to unconditional love is often like asking somebody to get in a boat, cross the ocean without a motor, and maybe you got one oar. That was too much of a leap. And so what they found is if they could get the women just to get to fear or anger, to anger, there was movement. So we often judge these lower emotions, and no, I would want nobody to sit in those because we know what it does to the body on a physical level, but they can have purpose. And for us to judge, right, the other part of our work is not to judge where somebody is, if they are in fear, if they are in anger. When we are holding the space, we get to hold them in that higher zone of co-creating, because we know, and I'm sure so many of you here know, the life that you live when you are predominantly up in those upper frequencies and connected to something more than yourself, that's when we call magic or miracles. They just happen every day. And it's a beautiful, different, joyful ride. And so purpose takes on a whole different meaning in that space.
I want to connect one dot for you. That we talked about here earlier on this call, Lynn McTaggart's groups were mentioned. And so if you haven't connected those dots, one of the reasons why like a Power of 8 group works so well, let's take like a medical issue, was if I have a medical issue, how I feel about that medical issue is very difficult for me to feel anything other than one of these things down here. If nothing else, the desire for it to be different, right? Even if I can rise above pain or anger or disappointment or something, likely I have just desire for it to be gone, which is down here, right? So it's very hard to create from a contractive energy. It just takes enormous amounts of effort to overcome it. But if I ask Amy or Zenka or Scott or anybody else, right? If I said, will you wish it for me, right? Their feeling isn't a feeling of desire. Feel it when you wish something for someone else. You just feel the joy of it already being done, right? That's up here. That is why the Power of 8 groups work, because it is difficult, not impossible, but difficult for people often to rise themselves on a topic from down here to up here. But it is much easier for a group of others to bathe you in it, because their natural state is like, of course, I don't have any limiting beliefs around why you can't have that thing that you're wanting, that healing, that gift, that miracle, that thing. Of course, I will wave my magic wand. It's fun. It's joyful. Bada boom, bada bing, done. And they can do it from a space of up here much easier. So just wanted to connect those dots for you.
Fantastic. I mean, this is really, first of all, thank you for all the wonderful show and tell. It's awesome. And we're going to do a little digesting. We're going to digest all this wisdom. So we're going to go to Omashar for our second song of the night. And then, of course, we're going to go back and hear from Zenka and possibly a couple of Zenka's friends. But for now, Mr. Omashar, take it away, brother.
I will. Was ready.
than what I am. Though it's taken some time to clear these clouds from my eyes, open your heart and dance along. I'm thinking it's time to stop that same old song. I've come alive, so hear me now. I am in love with the world around me, and I will hold her in my arms and lift her with my dreaming. La-da-da-da. I lift her with my dreaming. Whoa, and lift her with my dreaming. Da-da-da-da. So don't try to hold me to what I was. I've traveled through time to see this day arise. The love that I am is here for you. So open the door and let the sun shine in. I've come alive, so hear me now. I am in love with the world around me, and I will hold her in my arms and lift her with my dreaming. La-da-da-da. I lift her with my dreaming. La-da-da-da. And lift her with my dreaming. Ba-da-da. Ba-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So open your heart and dance along. I'm thinking of time to stop that same old song. I've come alive, so hear me now. I am in love with the world around me, and I will hold her in my arms and lift her with my dreaming. Ba-da-da-da. And lift her with my dreaming. Ba-da-da-da. And lift her with my dreaming. Ba-da-da-da. What more can I be than what I am?
Well, that certainly is the perfect song for tonight's show, isn't it? Wow.
It's kind of interesting when I go to intro at these things. I got a bit of a froggy throat tonight, so I'm not singing it as gloriously as I normally do. However, I'll get over it. But yes, I just kind of scan what's in the energy field, and the songs pop up, and I go, really? Do I have to sing that? And they're always perfect. So, hello.
I mean, all those lyrics are so what our three wonderful ladies are sharing with us tonight.
Exactly what I felt. Thank you.
And a reminder that we can get all things Omar Shah at his website. It's his name, omarshah.com. And a reminder that you want to scroll down and go to Bandcamp, because Bandcamp is where you're going to find all of his albums and where he will get the most percentage of those dollars spent. So let's all support Omar Shah by
yes, indeed. It's funny the percentage. In keeping with the tone of today, my mum is still saying, "When am I going to get a real job?"
Oh my God!
I know. It's like I've been dealing with all this early programming, and part of my parenting, I was parented by my grandparents somewhat. And so there's some really old conditioning in there. And the higher I go above the line of that chart that we were just blessed with, Amy and Amanda, thank you very much. The more I see that conditioning, and occasionally I have to dash down to the bottom into despondency and despair and get a little angry and then go, hang on a minute, I can reprogram this. And so that's where I am too. So this theme tonight is really important for me personally, as I'm sure it is for everybody who's watching. So thank you.
Well, you can share with your mom a couple of comments that just came in. Ayada wrote, Omashar, absolutely perfect song for tonight. Hold the world in my arms and lift her with my dreaming.
There we are, right there. And I just saw the comment, Mick Jagger's mum kept nagging him to get a real job. So thank you.
You're in good company there.
Indeed. In fact, I did actually appear on a stage with Mick Jagger in New Zealand when I used to be in pop rock bands. And he was touring as Mick Jagger, not the Stones. And we were the mystery band as his backup, and so a little claim to fame there. Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting claim. We'll have to hear more about that story sometime.
And that's it. That was the whole sheriff. So there we are.
Omashar, I love you so much. Hey, Omashar, you're going to see a couple of our old friends. Look who's here.
Wow.
And Altair.
Awesome. Nice to see you all.
So beautiful to see you all. Such a joy.
I mean, you talk about the Rolling Stones. I mean, it's like seeing the three of you together is like all of a sudden seeing Paul McCartney, Mick Jagger, and Pete Townsend all in the same room together.
Except two females. Let's bring that one in. Who can we do? I don't know, somebody. It's a dream team. Thank you for being here.
It is definitely a dream team. Well, wonderful beings. We love all three of you. What are you all up to? Tell us the exciting news.
Yeah, so I wanted to quickly respond to Amy and your question and Amanda, and then tell you what we have going on this weekend, because I can tell you right now, finding your purpose is funner in a group. It's a lot easier. And they're also going to talk about doing it through astrology and meditation, which is surprisingly powerful. It's almost uncanny. Like, how could the stars know? How could my birth plan know? How could that be the guide? And, there's a lot of tools out there, whether you do gene keys or whatever, that center around your birthday, telling you what your purpose is. So did you choose your purpose before you came down here? We don't know. And that's one thing I want to just touch on before we talk about what they're doing this weekend with people to zone in on that. Now, Amy talked a lot about joy and how that's her purpose. And then we looked at the Hawkins chart that Amanda showed. Joy is right before peace and enlightenment. That's how you get up to the top when you dump all the other stuff, right? You're in joy. And often I think that one of the best things you can do if you're looking for your purpose is think about, if you had an extra day of the week, what would you do? Would you cook? Would you sew? Would you take a walk? Would you call your friends? What is it that you wish you could do more of that brings you joy when you lose track of time? Maybe it's playing music. And that frequency is what is nutritive to everyone around you and to yourself. And we're all built differently. So finding what that note is that's your calling. That's your song, right? And I just want to say two other points about the research is, number one, a lot of people wrote down, stop thinking it's going to take a long time. What if it doesn't take a long time to find your joy and calling in life? Number two, I had my palms read, and we interviewed someone that read palms, and that also gave me my purpose. And it was ridiculous. So just like Amanda and Amy said, there are messages coming through. and especially when you come to your heart. And finally, this one guy, Tim Kelly from Transcendent Solutions, we interviewed him, and he works with companies to find their purpose and countries to find their purpose. And he said, Zenka, most people can just do the blank sheet of paper and figure it out, and that's going to be good enough. But he's like, there's leaders, like all of you on this call are leaders. You wouldn't be in this call if you're not a leader for what's coming. Consciousness is coming. He said, those people need to actually go a little bit deeper. And he says, what it is that you need to meditate and connect with God, Buddha, a tree, whoever you think is where you go to. And you need to ask them what your purpose is. And he said the best way to do it is automatic writing. And he says there's 40 questions you can determine whether or not the answers are correct. And I just tried this the other day, and it's absolutely fascinating. So the answer is within you. It's within your higher guidance. And it's also within the stars. And this weekend, for one weekend, we're getting together an intensive get together to help you guys release those lower chakras, lower things that Amanda and Amy were talking about, especially rage. And these guys are going to explain this, to then look at your chart and look at what your North Node is, because that's going to give you a massive clue. And remember, it's just walking. It's one step, the curiosity, next step, next step. Tell them what we have planned this weekend. It's going to be so cool. You guys are powerhouses, both in astrology, Vedic and Western astrology, and meditation. So it's the greatest hits of finding your purpose.
I just want to let anybody who doesn't know, Raquel is the astrologer for the Global Peace Tribe. She's who we go to on New Year's Eve. She's who we go to with all the big astrology stuff. She's a fourth generation international astrologer. Our audience loves her. And she brings so much love and wisdom and fun to astrology. And Altair, well, this guy is like the cosmic go-between between different dimensions of reality and us mere mortals trying to figure out one reality. He is truly a multidimensional being, helping us to really experience our multidimensional selves. So it's wonderful to have both of you joining us very spontaneously tonight. So take it away.
Oh, I'm just going to start off by saying Scott, Omashar, and the whole family here tonight, because I've been here so many times on the show. I just have to say it's such a joy to see you all and to be here again. It's just so beautiful to share this space. And thank you, Scott, for the opportunity to come and share a little bit about what's happening this weekend. So just a big, big hug and love to all of you from us both here in Sedona. Mm-hmm. And I just want to take a moment and tune in with everyone and connect our hearts together. And, this theme of purpose is a really big one. I'm a fourth generation astrologer, and I work every day with people. And, one of the biggest themes that are coming up more and more and more is, what is my purpose? And it doesn't matter where you're at in the world or what you do for a living, or it's just people really want to find their purpose. And from my experience, finding your purpose is really about finding that authentic voice. This is what everybody wants at the end of the day, is to find that authentic voice, which in my words, I translate as being the new leadership that is rising on the planet. Leadership is about finding your authentic path, and from that place, leading the way. So I just want to start off with a few words of encouragement to all of you, that we're all on this path of finding our purpose. And the beautiful thing is that our purpose is always shifting. And so it's okay if you have been on a purpose up until now, And suddenly you realize that you no longer resonate with that in the same way. And maybe now you are in a place where you're being drawn naturally to something else, or maybe you don't quite know what that is yet. It's okay. Our purpose is always shifting because that's what evolution is about. Evolution is about these shifts, and finding our purpose is a continual journey where we're always expanding more and more and more into new aspects of what that purpose is. So with that being said, I want to share as well that Altair and I have been very blessed to be leading several retreats recently. We just came from Mexico just a couple days ago, where we were leading a series of retreats with many different families and circles of people. And it is very interesting to notice how the number one theme, aside from finding your purpose, because that's a very big one, but the number one theme that everybody's asking for to know more about is to experience the mystical worlds. And I know we can all relate to that. And this is something that thankfully the world is more and more opening up to. There is this curiosity, this ever increasing curiosity to know more about who we are in our connection to the stars, right? And to our cosmic family. And this is so beautiful because this is where, number one, we have that opportunity to take that quantum leap as a civilization, as a society, to open up to more of who we are. And number two, people like us who are so faithfully here seeking and learning and opening ourselves up to our gifts more and more and more, we are finally having a chance to stand up and lead the way. So Altair and I have been very blessed to be leading series of retreats where we've been helping people align with their true purpose and also connect with the mystical worlds. And I'll let Altair speak in just a minute here, but I want to just tie this into what we're doing this weekend, because this weekend we are taking everyone on a beautiful journey of the mystical worlds, and through that coming into alignment with your purpose. He's going to explain better, and it's going to be amazing. But I have here, I wrote down what we're going to be doing. And to summarize, we are going to be helping you connect with the mystical worlds of your star child. Feel into what that means for you. Your star child. Together with your inner dragon, which is your future self, and your multidimensional self. And so from that, this connection that we're going to be taking you, the star child, your inner child, the true essence of who you are, together with your inner dragon, which is where that life force comes through. Together, you're going to be aligning yourself to what your purpose is. So we will be working with some astrological concepts, nothing too complicated. This is merely to help you understand that your chart already shows you the way. And so together with the knowledge of your chart, you yourself can come into a greater clarity of what this purpose is. So we will be working with some very basic concepts. One of them is the Black Moon Lilith, which is really the Black Moon Lilith archetype in astrology, is where we hold all that power. The inner dragon, every time you hear us speak about the dragon energy, the name of the program is called Awaken Your Dragon. The dragon is this connection to your Black Moon Lilith. It's where all the mystical powers are at. But before you can connect with those mystical powers, there are some things that you have to unobstruct. Is that how you say it? Unobstruct, right? Like in the form of repressed emotions or anger. And when you're able to release that, what is left in its essence is a pure, raw, primal power that we are all entitled to as human beings, as children that come directly from Gaia. So the Black Moon Lilith is a very Gaia archetype, and we're going to be helping you understand about that. And then together with the lunar nodes, this is something else in astrology, we'll be giving you some beautiful information about your path and your purpose and your destiny here. So just a little bit about this weekend, and I just hope that you feel the love and the care that we have for each of you, because at the end of the day, we are one heart, and what one is going through, the rest is also feeling. So we are all in the search together to align with the mystical realms and bring that back down into our purpose in the future moving forward. So thank you. I'll let Altair speak a little bit.
Beautifully said. And well, before you pass to me, I thought in terms of the star child, maybe you'd like to share your own child's star journey with your parents and that.
Well, we both are very, we come from long lineages of mystics. You know, I come from at least four generations of astrologers and mystics. And so I was just telling Altair the other day, he didn't know, and he's like, oh, you should say this in the show. But I guess I could say that my earliest experiences with the mystical realms, as far as I can remember, when I was only 3 months old, I got double pneumonia. And my parents, they tell me this story every year, especially on the day of my birthday, which was just 2 days ago. So they just told me the story again, and I was sharing with him. And so I almost died. I was 3 months old, and I got double pneumonia, and the doctors were just basically telling my parents, say goodbye. I was the firstborn, and my parents were only 18 and 19 years old. They were devastated. So I was put in the intensive care unit. Is that how you say it? Intensive, which is like the last place before you die. And my parents would be with me during the day, but at night they weren't allowed to be with me. So they were staying in a little house that was right next to the hospital. And according to them, this is their story, they would not sleep. Every single night when they would go back home, they would just pray and pray and pray and beg God to save my life. So one night, you know, I could leave any moment, I could pass away any moment. And so they both tell me this story, and they're moved to tears every time they tell me, every year on my birthday, how they were praying for me. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and they were outside and just looking out at the hospital and praying for me because they couldn't be there with me physically. And they were praying, and all of a sudden they both saw a huge spaceship hover right over the hospital. And my father was just telling me the story 2 days ago, and he was like, and there was this big spaceship, and it was just going boom, 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 boom. And it just stood there on top of the hospital, and light came down from the spaceship right in the hospital, right over the hospital. And they said it wasn't a vision, it was real. And the entire hospital was filled with light from that spacecraft. And then my mother is the one who always tells this part of the story. It's her favorite part, but she said there were a lot of little baby angels, as she calls them, the cherubims. But she says there were these cute little baby angels, like they were just floating all around the roof of the hospital. And so at that point, when they saw that, they said that they knew in their heart that my life was going to be spared. So, and that's exactly what happened the next day. They went there, and I was completely well. So every time they tell me that story, they say, Raquel, you were meant to be here with us. If you were supposed to have gone, you would have gone back then. And I often like to think that because of that experience, I was so near the edge of death. I was able to, what I say that nowadays I have like a foot in both worlds, right? I have a foot in the mystical realms and a foot in this realm. And I think it's really due to this experience, you know, when I was a newborn, and just being in this edge of life and having that experience myself made the mystical realms be very normal to me. and something that I can just ease and in and out of throughout my life. So there you have it.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. And if you're tapping in like we are to Raquel's story, then I want you to consider, I'm going to give you a little direct experience of how you might feel the weekend with us so that you can get a feeling in your body. So I want you to consider, just like Raquel, you're all star beings. In fact, you have star children inside yourself. We're made of the stuff of stars, right? I mean, in terms of quantum theory, we are actually all connected with the stars at all times. I mean, we look up to the stars, we recognize that many of the stars are our homes. So I want you to connect right now to where your home is. Some of you are Sirians, some Arcturians, some Pleiadians. So I want you to deeply connect into that, just like Raquel did then. And there may be an early time in your life, like Raquel, at a very early stage where you knew that. So my very early life was writing to NASA when I was just 5 years old, saying I was not from here and I'd like to be taken home on the first one-way flight out. They did write back and say that they had no one-way flights planned, but that I was welcome to join as an astronaut when I was 18. So I was very aware as a tiny boy that I was not from here. So,
and you specifically asked for Alpha Centauri, right?
I was very specific. I said it's a planetary system just beyond Alpha Centauri. So as I pointed it out, I'm sure they were investigated on my behalf. So if you're feeling that and you're feeling in tune with a particular planetary system, just sense into that now. And notice when I'm speaking to you, and you might want to write this down in the chat. And once again, I'm really, really deeply grateful to Scott and Michelle and all of you, because there's this collective loving family, this global peace tribe that we all are, that we are a galactic peace tribe, that we're all tuning in right now to all these affiliations and families and connections that we have as star children, and that we were literally born on this planet to bring through that consciousness. So as you're connecting to that consciousness now, and many of you are actually aware of multidimensional aspects of yourself, where you're tuning in not just to one star system, but perhaps like me, you are tuning into the Pleiadian, Sirian, Arcturus systems all at once. So feel those parts of yourself actually speaking or looking or guiding you from those planetary systems or star systems now. And just notice where that arises in your body. For me, it's a very heart-based feeling. So just notice what you're feeling as you start to breathe, and begin to breathe in that star consciousness. So this is the first part of what we're doing in the weekend, is actually to connect you through your star charts to the star child within. So we're using the energies of Black Moon Lilith, but particularly the energies of Black Moon Lilith in her relationship with the galaxy, because Raquel does exquisite astrology and I do galactic and Vedic astrology, and so together we form this divine partnership with the stars, which I think is very, very beautiful. So as you're feeling into that now, and as you're noticing your connection with the stars, and as you're noticing that star child in yourself, you can do it with open eyes or closed eyes. Oh, I got a bright burst of starlight. It was probably Scott reaching out to me and tapping me saying, hey, yep, I'm there already. Scott actually usually does this before I start this, so he's already way ahead. His future self has already told me and him what I'm going to say. So I love doing that. Amishah's already composed a new piece of music based on what I was about to say, that his future self has already tapped into. So if your future self is already connecting and you're starting to feel this in your body, and you're feeling an excitement and kind of a thrill of the experience of being here in the star connection in this galactic tribe, then notice where it is in your body. You can close your eyes and notice what kind of energy is there for you. And it might be very elemental. Some of you will feel more earth-based energies. So we look at this through our star charts, right? What are you, more earth? Are you more air? So notice whether it's more an airy feeling. Earth might to you feel very heavy, elementally. Air might feel to you more tingly, elementally. Fire might feel more warm to you elementally. Mm-hmm. Water might feel more like a current, like a surge or streams. Some of you will tune into space, so you may feel very out there already. So as you're tuning into this and you're starting to dive very, very deep into your connection through the elements in your body to the star child in you, notice what form the star child has. Some of you will actually see a starburst. Some of you will see light. Some of you will you'll feel the essence of that star within you. Some of you might even see a little child. Maybe you might go like Raquel to when you were just 3 months old or a year old or 2 or 3 years old, when you first had your experience of knowing that you were different and knowing that there was something unique about what you were here to do, your purpose, which is the whole theme of this beautiful show that we're sharing in. So you're feeling into that very earliest sense of purpose, noticing where it's arising in your body, and you're bringing a sense of connection to that purpose. So you, in a way, your adult self, your higher self, is reaching out to that star child in you, and you're holding her hand or his hand, and you're saying, what do you need? What do you need? Right? And she or he might want to express, she might want to speak light language right now. She may want to bring through a new piece of music for our planet, or new practices, spiritual awareness, might want to open you to a past life, might want to open you to some of the technologies of the star system you're from. So you're just noticing what's arising. Just noticing, just being open, just simply being aware, allowing more spaciousness for that star child to reveal herself or himself. And as that starts to reveal, you'll start to feel maybe a surge of energy as you open space and reach out again with your hand, really hold the hand of that star child tight, because sometimes she's been buried inside, especially in this material world, this physical world. For some of you that are very connected with the stars, it's easy for you to do. For others, she's just awakening. He's just awakening. So you reach out your hand and you let her know you are not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone. And you can feel even the connections with all of us here. You can feel all the connections with Scott and Noma, Sharon, all the wonderful people here, Amanda, Amy, Ayata, all the many beautiful souls that are here present. They're all supporting you. We're all supporting each other. And as you do that, you start to breathe that star child's magnificence, the brilliance, the illumination of that star child, the radiance, the truth. And you start to breathe it up from whichever part of your body it's most settling in. It might be your gut, your belly, your womb, or your heart, or your throat, your third eye area, or your crown. You're breathing it up, and you're drawing it up and into that pineal gland in your brain, and you're letting her settle there. And you start to open to that inner dragon. You start to open to the inner dragon fire. And the dragon might take a shape. She might take a form or a color. She also could be a feeling, just a feeling, a sensation, just this inner awakening of the Kundalini or the Shakti that is Black Moon Lilith. And so you breathe her up again, you nurture her, you nurture that fire of the dragon within you. And you nurture it and you start to open. As you're breathing that up into the pineal gland, you start to open. You see, as you're breathing it up, and you can actually make this a little more forceful, you can really suck it up, like you're sucking up energy through a drinking straw. You can draw it up through your mouth like an awe, like a sense of awe, and you draw that energy up because actually physically you're starting to draw the cerebrospinal fluid up in the spine, all the way up into the brain. It's impacting the pineal glands as you're doing that. So we're all doing this as one peace tribe. We're Scott's family. We're actually literally all his children right this moment, because we're drawing this up as one, impacting the pineal glands as one, feeling the collective presence of everybody here, and just opening to any messages of awareness that our future self want to bring us. I feel so moved because I can feel your energy and feel all our future selves opening to this incredible potential for our world to find peace and love, to find gentleness and openness and joy. And you might get visions or glimpses of what your future self holds. I can see different planets, different star systems that we are going to explore and find as humanity. in just the next few years, exoplanets, planets that have life, that are already being revealed. Black holes, supergalactic centers, areas of the universe that as we explore deeper, many of us already know. Many of us already are connected to those star systems. So we already know what that future self is about to reveal. And it might reveal to you more about your purpose. That could be as simple as a health insight that you get, a financial insight that you have, a new relationship. You might see a soul partner appearing to you. You might suddenly connect with a new sense of purpose in your job or your business or your finance. So you're just opening to all of that. You're very present to the fact that we're all supporting each other in this exquisite, connected energy of this family, this peace tribe, this galactic family. Oh, I can feel it vibrating in my entire body and Raquel's, because she's so close. Her aura is affecting me. Her violet aura and her blue violet energy is really expanding, just as many of yours are. And so you can gently open your eyes and remain in that future self. And for many of you, this will be multiple future selves. You'll be aware that at any moment, you can choose from multiple dimensional realities. You can choose to go out the door after this and walk left instead of walking right. And I'd really encourage you this week as a very simple exercise to bring that future self to mind, into your heart, breathe her or him. And then if you've taken exactly the same driving route to work, or taken the same bus, or got on a cycle and gone, do it completely differently. Try something completely different. Break a habit that you've maybe never noticed, and break it each day just to see what happens. And it'll introduce you to new synchronicities. Like, really trust the inner star child, the inner dragon power, and the power of your future self. Like, really trust the power of that future self to actually rest back, to be open, and then to trust the spontaneity. That's what the illumination of the mind does, and the heart and the womb. It actually opens you to spontaneous presence. You start to explore areas of your world that you've been so connected to a habit that you've never thought to explore, to walk left out your door, because you always walk right to your car, and then something happens. I did that the other day, and 2 doves flew down the moment that I did something different. They actually lighted on the lawn in front of me, and I spoke to them. So just trust the incredible power of your inner star child, your inner dragon, which is the power of Black Moon Lilith, opening you up to your future self. And if you feel so guided, come and join us on the weekend. We'd love to have you. You're truly part of our family. And Scott and Amashar and everybody here, I'm just deeply, deeply in gratitude and love and joy and happiness just to be here. You can see I got a little tears already just to be in your presence, Scott. Thank you for being so divine. We love you.
Don't disappear yet. Please put into the chat box the link where people can register for the weekend or get more information.
Sure.
And brought Amanda and Amy up. I love bringing people together so magical beings meet magical beings. And I'd love to ask Amanda and Amy, what came up for you as you followed along with Altair's visioning and tuning into your future or alternative reality selves?
Well, first of all, thank you. Actually, it was very fun. For me, it was, I remembered and Amanda's heard me say this, but I saw my Jedi come and play. And I don't ever want to get rid of her.
That is so beautiful.
So I appreciate it. It is something I hold dear, but to feel it again, and to hold on to that, somewhere along the lines, somebody said, grow up, and I'm not sure why I listened to them a long time ago. So I try to always revert back to that child who knew they could do anything and everything. And so that those star systems, I can't say that I belong to one or another. I can't quite tap that far, but I have plenty of experiences where I'm not, I'm awake, but I'm not here on this earth. But where I am, nobody's told me as of yet. But the dragon, oh, I got a dragon.
Tell us more about your dragon. I want to hear. I'm in so much joy already. I'm just about catching on fire. So I want to hear, Amy.
Dragon. And it had the pink, it was a pink and green dragon.
Oh,
And it had the silliness of Pete's dragon.
Oh yes, I know Pete's dragon. Oh yes.
It had the silliness of Pete's dragon, but also the love and compassion that that dragon, but I don't know if that was just a memory from the childhood, but that's what I experienced. So I said, I think I said, oh, you're Patricia.
Oh, that's lovely. Patricia's great. I love that. That is magic.
that's so beautiful. And trust that, you know, our brain many times uses analogies, if you will, to communicate things to us. So even more than, you know, the words or the things you saw, it's really about the feeling. What did that dragon bring to you as far as feeling? What did it feel like in your body? Did it feel playful, joyful, fierce, wise? You know, these are the messages that this image is communicating to you.
Thank you. It was very fun. I really appreciated it. And I think Amanda might have a message actually for you as well.
I mean, that's magnificent.
You might just tell her.
Thank you.
Well, it's interesting because usually I'm the one who gets all the very detailed divisions and the information and the, you know, like I could write a whole novel on whatever it is. And Amy is the one that gets more the feelings without the visuals and the details. And apparently, Amy, we swapped places today because you have the visuals and the everything. And I just had like when it feels like you're communicating in energy and it's very difficult to put words to it, like words don't match to it. And so I don't actually know how to verbalize anything. It makes it me a very uninteresting person to interview on it because there's no real words.
Beautiful.
That is how I connect as well, by the way. He sees everything and he always asks me, how was your experience? I can't put it into words. It wasn't visual. It wasn't linear. It's like, it's there.
So that's her and I are usually swapped. Yeah. That's usually me. That's her. So
I love that. I love that. So you both get a little taste of each other's world.
That is so cool. And what about you, Raquel? How did you feel? What did you feel?
Oh, I mean, we've been doing this already for some time. So I just go straight into Gaia. I feel the Black Moon Lilith energy. I feel her power coming through. To me, the dragon energy symbolizes her. And at its essence, at its core, Gaia is that ethereal dragon as well in the cosmos. So I just go straight into that. Yeah.
Beautiful. Scott, Michelle, would you?
Yeah, what did you experience?
Mine was really a star connection. I had a period in my life where I spent a lot of time outside at night when there was no light pollution, and I would always connect with the star systems. And of course, I've always felt a connection with the Pleiades, not of course, but I have. And so this brought that up for me. There was no words, nothing at all, just a gratitude to have my consciousness, my awareness expanded again into those realms. I feel a very heart connection, deeper than that, even with the Arcturian system. And I've always had that. But in the last 3 years, I've lived in a light pollution dense suburb, and so even when you go out at night you only see half a dozen stars. And so what this did for me was just reawaken my star consciousness. Thank you, Altair. Thank you, Raquel. And I feel it. I literally feel it as tingling and literally stars within my being. But I do not have any more words past that. In fact, probably this backdrop is more what I felt. And so
Beautiful. I love that. Love it, Misha. Thank you.
Thank you.
Scott?
I'm going to share a little bit from our audience, actually. Sylvia pulled up this image because this is what she felt when she tuned into a future self. It's a Dralicorn that's half dragon, half unicorn.
Hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
Those colors,
Isn't it
wow.
gorgeous? That looks like the kind of, Raquel does this amazing, beautiful artwork using with AI. I encourage all of you to go to her website. I'll pull it up and show some. Ayada wrote, Altair, that was so powerful. Thank you very much. That really tied together some pieces from my life. And Scotty Satori also sent an image that I think represents his future self.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
magical.
Isn't that adorable?
Hearing these, oh my goodness. Thank you, thank you. Oh, I love them. I love them.
Susan writes, I feel very connected to Sirius. I think they want to talk to me, yet I'm not quite ready. That's honest. A couple of other people said, yeah, me too. So for myself, I've always felt connected to the Pleiades. Always. If I look up into the night sky, it doesn't matter what time of year it is, if the Pleiades is visible, it's what I immediately see first. And I've had a couple of memories of a long time ago in terms of Earth years, coming to this planet and making a commitment to be a big part of the evolution of humanity. So that's something that you reminded me of, and I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's always an honor to be on your show. So I'm always deeply, deeply grateful. What a joy. Thank you.
Absolutely. Here's one more image that came up from Sylvia. This is her alter ego, Grindal the dragon. So there's
I love it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Scott. And everyone, if anyone else has any little dragon images, I mean, this is the year of the dragon. That's why all this energy is coming up, and to me, the dragon represents that internal leadership that comes from the authentic expression, which really at the end of the day is your inner child. This is what the star being that we're going to be helping you connect with is all about. That star child is that essence. And I think the dragons represent that so well. Thank you, Scott. I'm
going to go to your website, Raquel, and then if you guys can put into the chat box the link for your event this weekend. But Raquel's website is her name, raquelspring.com. I strongly encourage all of you to immediately subscribe and join her global community. She has a powerful mentorship program. And Raquel's just always doing beautiful, wonderful things. Her monthly full moon celebrations are quite well known within our Global Peace Tribe community and family. So definitely go to raquelspring.com. And she just also creates amazing, beautiful artwork, which I just really so appreciate, Raquel. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you so much. I've been very blessed recently to be doing all these projects now in conjunction with Altair. And so we lead these full moon gatherings every month. They are free community events that if you want to participate and join, this is really about celebrating the energies of the month and getting guidance and wisdom for the month ahead. So the next one is actually happening next week. It always happens on the day of the full moon. The art as well is something that we create and we send to everybody as a free gift on every full moon. And then I also recommend, that when along the lines of finding your purpose, booking a private session, a one-on-one session. What I do is I take you on an individual journey, an astrological journey in your chart, specifically in aligning yourself with your true purpose. And so the way that I personally work with astrology is that the focal point, especially of the natal chart is the starting point. The natal chart is where you understand why you are here on this planet. You understand your true purpose, your reason for being here, your destiny, your evolutionary trajectory. And then from that place, you look at all the other aspects of your personality, your life, the way you grew up, why, and all the challenges and gifts and so forth. So that is a real personal way to know your destiny, your purpose at any point in life. And then, of course, we also have the event this weekend that's going to be taking you into a more collective aspect of what that means. But thank you, Scott, for sharing that, and the website as well.
And here's the website for the information for where you can register for what they're doing this Saturday and Sunday, Your Path to Freedom and Purpose. Just go to starseedacademy.org, starseedacademy.org. What a blessing to have you two join us. I just love you very much. And I've been blessed to receive astrological reading from Raquel. I cannot recommend her highly enough. She's the astrologer you want to work with. And she's brilliant and she's fun, as you could see tonight. Altair, are you living in Sedona now?
No, I think I'm gonna, not yet. We're due to we're traveling on another series of retreats to Europe in about a month. So
Wow.
I'm traveling somewhere. I've just come from a retreat in Canada, then Mexico with Raquel, then we're going to Europe, then we're going back to Japan, then to Sedona again. So yeah.
And Raquel, you're going to Europe also, Raquel?
Yes, I am. A few countries in there, Spain, Italy, and Switzerland.
Yeah. The connections we made in Mexico, Scott asked whether we could expand what we did in Mexico to Spain next. And I've already got some retreats booked in London and Switzerland and Amsterdam. So yeah, I've been busy. We decided it worked so well in Mexico for us. We said, okay, let's just keep going. So we said to the groups that are funding us at the moment, all right, we've made your day. Let's make your day in Europe too.
And it's all going to revolve around this, connecting to the star child and to the mystical realms, like we said, and their true purpose. So at the end of the day, we're all on the same path.
It's very beautiful.
Fantastic.
It's
beautiful.
I just have to say, I'm sorry to interrupt, Scott. You are just such a sweetheart. Like, I can feel your heart. You have such a mother's heart, and this Scott is so beautiful in person, online. I mean, this is who he is all the time. And I'm always moved. I've been here so many times in your show, but every time I'm so moved to see and feel your love for the community, your receptivity to me every time I come on, and for all of us. And I love you so dearly, Scott. So thank you. And the whole family as well. Oh, Mashar, it's just, you're a part of the family too. I feel you so deeply, and much gratitude to you. Just wanted to say that.
We love you dearly. Love you all dearly. Thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Yeah, and look forward to being back. Yeah, when the time is right.
Absolutely. And I'm coming to Sedona sometime soon. So hopefully it won't be when you're off to Europe. I'll have to
message me before for sure. I would love to see you. Yes.
We really would.
God bless you both. And everybody, join their event this weekend. What an amazing way to prepare for the summer. Summer solstice is coming up. It really looks like a fabulous event that you're doing.
Thank you.
Well, I love bringing people together, and how exciting it is to have met Amanda and her partner Amy, and to then connect you with Zenka and Raquel and Altair. Welcome to the Global Peace Tribe.
Thank you.
Show magic happens. It's just that kind of an event here.
This has been so wonderful.
Amazing. And I told Amanda I forgot to share that the dragon kept saying to me, recreation. And I said, I love recreation, right? I love, whether it be sports or vacation, it's all recreation to me. And then they said, live recreation every day. And then it was respelled. It was RE-creation. And it said, every moment is a recreation. Live it as a recreation.
Wow.
I was like, after I said, I texted Amanda, like, how did I forget that part?
Well, I want to remind people that you can learn all about these wonderful ladies by going to their website, which is authentic.ceo, authentic.ceo, and click about us. I love that picture of the two of you. And
That's one of our favorites. We were actually filming a reality TV series on was it 4 days to save the world, where we took the UN's prime issues for the year and brought a bunch of entrepreneurs together around the world, and we tackled it in 4 days, and like you do on a Saturday. But that's where that picture was just taken, and it was one of our favorites, so thank you.
Oh, well, you are gems, and great to get to know you a little bit more, Amy. Amanda, I'm really enjoying cultivating our connection professionally and personally. She and I are showing up on a lot of Evolutionary Leader Network gatherings together. And again, welcome to the Global Peace Tribe. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you. And if I can say, if there's anybody out there watching who is a female founder of a tech company and would like some mentorship, Fourth Wave is taking applications right now for the next few days for this year's cohort. Amy and I volunteer our time for that, as do a lot of mentors. And we do the type of work we were talking about here, as well as a lot of business mentorship as well. And they run it as a nonprofit. So it's one of the only accelerators out there that does not take equity from your company. So I'll just put in the chat here, fourthwave.io is the URL. So please pass that around if you know of anyone, or if you yourself is a female or a female identified founder of a technology company and would like some assistance accelerating that. That's just one of the companies we do work through. Rather than listing them all, this is just the one that the applications are due this Friday. So, and it's the best deal going out there. But otherwise, thank you, Scott, for sharing our website, authentic.ceo. So if you'd like to work with us in any other capacity, please reach out. We would love to create a special program for you, or talk to you about any of the other ways that we work through venture funds, or we'd love to install our program in any of your programs, because more consciousness is better.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Amanda. All right, now don't go away, because we're going to conclude with an Omashar song, but I've got some very important announcements for our Global Peace Tribers. You all know Summer Joy Raymer. She does the 24-hour dance-a-thons. She's at it again. Starting tomorrow, she's going to be doing a dance-a-thon, but this time she's doing it 4 days in a row, 8 hours a day, starting at 4 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, 7 o'clock Eastern time. I sent out an email to all of our subscribers with the links to where you can find out about that. Let's all show up. Let's all dance with Summer Joy 4 days in a row, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, from 7 in the morning until around 1 o'clock in the afternoon Pacific time. Then on Friday night, we're going to have another one of our film series. We've started showing movies that are dealing with some of the challenges that we're facing. And the film we're showing on Friday night is called Active Measures. It's a very disturbing film. I just want to warn people, but it's important. It's got some important information. Again, I sent out the link to all of our subscribers. It's free for Global Peace Tribe members, but you do need to register. You just click the link to register. And that's Friday night at 7 o'clock Pacific time. You can also go join me live at the Sunrise Center, because that's where we're showing it. This is another one of the hybrid experiences that I'm doing with Lori Grace, where we have a film taking place live at the Sunrise Center. And then for those of you online that don't want to come to the Bay Area or to Corte Madera, you can join us online. And so that's this Friday night, 7 o'clock. Then on Saturday, we have a really wonderful Awakening World show planned. It's the kickoff of 99 days of peace through unity. This will be the 5th year. We're now in our 5th year of doing Global Peace Tribe shows, and we've been working with Unity Earth ever since we got started. So it's our 5th year of supporting 99 days of peace through unity. And John and Summer will be my co-hosts. And we have an amazing musical artist. I saw her in concert, and I went up to her and I told her about the show, and I asked her if she would be on the show, and she agreed. I'm not exaggerating. This woman is going to blow your socks off. She plays gorgeous, exquisite Persian music, very authentic and very unique. So she's our special musical guest. And of course, Omar Shar will be with us as well. And Norman Love is going to be doing a KES group healing for us. And there are going to be several other people that are leaders of this year's 99 Days of Unity and World Unity Week program joining us. So Saturday night is going to be a really big night. So please do join us. Now, for all of you who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, you got to join the Global Peace Tribe, because that's how you get the subscriptions and the invitations to all these things. And it's very easy. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com, just like what's behind me. And you can learn all about us and all the different shows that we do. And then click register for the new season, and that'll take you to our registration page. And there's all sorts of different levels that you can register at. But at any level, you're going to get the links to all of our programs, including the Awakening World every Wednesday and Saturday night, the film series on Friday nights, and special events. So please do join us. Finally, I want to read a few of the comments that have come in from people. Dorina Joy down in Ecuador writes, "It was so wonderful," she used the word one, "to find out our common associations and affiliations, especially the attraction with and to the Pleiades." Yes, so many of us feel connected to the Pleiades, and who knows, maybe we're up there simultaneously going, oh my God, look at them down on the earth. They're beginning to wake up. Isn't that exciting? A few other comments that have come in. Let's see here. Amanda just wanted to let people know, ignore the stated deadline. You can apply anytime. And again, that application goes to fourthwave.io, fourthwave.io. Ayada says about last week's film, The Great Hack. She writes, I want to say that last week's film was incredible. This is very important information. So yes, and actually, Ayada, we switched, instead of Friday night's film being People You May Know, it's actually now going to be a different film, but equally important. And you'll see on Friday night, those of you who come, you'll see why we switched. But we're really, it's an important film series. You know, if you watch our opening video, you are all regulars, you've seen that opening video 100 times. We're here to inform and to inspire. Now, these films inform us, and then people like Amy and Amanda and Raquel and Omashar and Altair and Zenka, they inspire us. They provide the inspiration after the information. And speaking of inspiration, I think we all are inspired 2 or 3 times per show by our beloved Omashar. He is the Alpha and the Omega of the awakening world. Take it away, brother.
I will. And just before I take it away, take us away on another whirlwind trip. World Unity Week actually starts tomorrow. And if you go to, which leads up to the 99 Days of Peace, which leads up to the amazing world gathering in Japan, you can go on to unity.earth/World Unity Week. And there are dozens of online programs from amazing world leaders and teachers and movers and shakers over this next week. And I'm just putting that out there now that you can actually go into unity.earth, on YouTube and Facebook and just see what's happening there, because there's a gazillion free programs which you can interact with over the next week leading up to the 99 Days of Peace. And from there, it's just onward and forward because we're past the tipping point. We are.
Here it is. So here it is, unity.earth, all of our friends, Ben Bowler and company, many of whom you're going to see on the Awakening World this Saturday night. But yes, please do go there, register. If you go to events, and you can see all the different events that are happening. Our beloved Omashar is going to be in Japan at 2024. Who wants to go to Japan with Omashar? You have an opportunity to do that.
And Kristen Hoffman, she'll be there, and Pato and Antoinette, and Dot Maver, and a bunch of people that we all know because Scott has had them on his show. So thank you, Scott. You are the connector, and I appreciate you so much, brother. Where's he gone?
I'm here.
All right.
I was speechless.
Okay. Oh, one more moment. Okay, this is a short pop song, so get up and be ready to dance once I press go, okay?
Whatever happened to the ones that came before? Did they just vanish into the blue? Maybe they're living the dream we know to be true, and reaching their hands back out of the blue. Heart is so ready to embrace all that's new. I feel the love calling for me to break on through. With peace on my mind, I know that I'm coming to a new way of life that feels so true. Okay, break it down. There's nothing here to hold me back from you. The clouds of my life have blown away. My lightness of being lifts me every day. I find myself feeling not so blue. My heart is so ready to embrace all that's new. I feel the love calling for me to break on through. With peace on my mind, I know that I'm coming to a new way of life that feels so true.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to go to gallery view for us to close out. Twinkle away, everybody. Give twinkles and love to Omashar and to each other. So good to see each and every one of you. And hopefully I'll see you in the dance room with Summer Joy starting tomorrow morning. I'll be there dancing with her. And hopefully many of you will be as well. Yeah, we've got a lot going on this week. Make sure you check your email. I sent out a quick one today. Some of the images apparently didn't come through. I'll be sending out tomorrow morning a more significant email that's got all the details. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And we'll see you hopefully tomorrow morning and definitely throughout the week. Good night, everybody.